got returned Monday evening from my week off up in Colorado with my daughter and son-in-law and the grandkids. And on the very second day, since the grandkids are all in school now, I was just left with my daughter. And so we had things to do every day. And on the second day, we planned this hike. And it was a 3.7-mile hike. It was going to take about 4 hours. And I thought, oh, that sounds just wonderful. And the only thing that troubled me, though, was we were going to start at 6,000 feet, and we were going to go to 7,000 feet. But all of that elevation was going to be on the first mile. And I thought, wow, I can do that. No problem. But let me remind you that Grand Rapids sits at 663 feet above sea level. So we started out, and then I learned really quickly that the air is really thin at 6,000 feet, going to 7,000 feet. And I wound up stopping at probably 8 to 10 times, just struggling to catch my breath, just struggling to keep up with her. I mean, she was walking like a gazelle, and to make matters worse, there were people jogging up the dang thing. So, but when we did get there, when we did get to the summit, it was all worth it. It was so beautiful. I mean, they had this little platform that you could stand on and look out and see all over. You could see downtown Denver from Littleton. It was absolutely amazing. It was so much worth it. You know, our Christian lives at times are hard. Sometimes it is difficult. But God just still encourages to keep going. Paul in our first reading today says, you know, even in our weakness, even in our groanings, when we're gasping for air, and we don't know how to pray, God does. God does know how to help us. And God promises that he'll help us and be with us. But Paul says you just got to believe that. You just got to stop and just say, okay, I believe today, above all the challenges, I just believe you're going to be there. And he will. First in our gospel, there's so much in our gospel today, but you know, Jesus is asked in the very first paragraph, how many are going to be saved? And like Jesus, most of the time, he never answers the question, right? He always gets to the question that he wants. And what does he say? Enter through the narrow gate. You got to enter through the narrow gate. Basically, what Jesus is telling us is that life is hard. And he knows that. So as we gather today and we think about our lives and wherever we are in faith and whatever we may have to be doing today or what we did yesterday, I think it comes down to just discipline. Discipline and faith. Are we willing just to keep walking even though we're struggling to breathe? Are we willing to just keep moving to the summit? You know, I could see it the whole time. I could see it up there. But it was just getting there that was hard. But today, God says, I'm going to be up on that summit. I'm going to be up there waiting for you. So let's just keep going today with whatever we have in our life and know that the Eucharist today will strengthen us to do what God wants us to do.